Today we're going to be talking about 10 online features that I think need to be added to single player. This is sort of a quality of life update for story mode in GTA 5. So we're basically going to be talking about what are the must-have bring online features to single player stuff. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. If you're a big online player and you also want single player to be updated, let us know what are some of the changes you guys would make too. So this is in no particular order, but at the number one spot today, that is car insurance. So that's the toughest part about GTA 5 single player, that unless you have either the default vehicle that Michael, Trevor, Franklin has, or you have it stored in one of the garages, which is not all that large, like you can buy a vehicle, you can modify it, and if it gets destroyed, it's blown up, which is so unfortunate. That's one of the best parts about Grand Theft Auto Online, in my opinion, is vehicle insurance, and how no matter what goes wrong, no matter how many people blow you up, you're always still going to have your vehicle. They can't take that away from you. Unfortunately, in single player, they can. Now, you're not dealing with other players, but there's still things that can take you out. NPCs, obviously cops, and not having the ability to insure your car to guarantee that it will stay with you, or even pick it up from like the insurance lot. You can't do that either. So that's something I'd love to see added, car insurance, because there's a lot of vehicles that are expensive and losing them is obviously never great. The number two spot today, the mechanic, Johnny on the spot. So I'm not sure if in single player it would work how it used to be in online, where like someone would physically deliver your car, or if it works how it is now where it would just spawn in front of you. But there definitely needs to be a car instant spawning mechanic service for single player. Because as I mentioned, unless you have one of the character's default vehicles, like Trevor's truck, Michael's, I think his like Obey tailgater, and then you've got Franklin's Buffalo. Unless you have that vehicle, you won't be able to get the saved vehicles you have if you're somewhere like in Paleto Bay or Sandy Shores. So having the mechanic would allow you to deliver all the vehicles you have instantly, just like it is in online. I mean, what would online be like without the mechanic? And kind of picture how that would be like in single player too. So yes, we definitely need the car delivery mechanic in story mode. Also, the number three spot, being able to discard unwanted weapons from the weapon wheel. So online has a lot more weapons than single player. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but it would still be nice to get rid of some of the unwanted weapons from the weapon wheel. I mean, the weapon wheel since day one is kind of like one of the more cluttered things we have in GTA 5. Yes, it's gotten a little bit better over time, but it still has not been perfect. And in single player, it is kind of tricky. Now, the one thing you get in single player when switching guns is sort of the world slows down for you. In online, that isn't the case. Same with when you press like the start menu or something like that, like the world will freeze. So in a way that helps you out a little bit, but still, being able to discard those unwanted weapons would be a nice welcome feature. The number four spot today, gun lockers. So this is one of the most underrated features of Grand Theft Auto Online, being able to modify our gun loadout, our weapon loadout, and we desperately need that for single player. This sort of goes in tandem with number three today, having gun lockers and just being able to have custom loadouts for our characters. Like, imagine if you wanted to get into more of like a role play scenario, whereas Trevor, the only thing you had were grenades and Molotovs and RPGs. Or if you wanted to be a little bit more stealthy like Michael, only maybe carry pistols and sniper rifles. Franklin, maybe you go in more guns blazing, assault rifles, SMGs, stuff like that. That would be pretty cool. Instead, everyone has the same loadout and you can't modify it at all. And this is an amazing part for Grand Theft Auto Online. I use this for car shows. I use this for live streams. I use this for role playing, just general situations where I don't need 8 assault rifles. Stuff like that is such an awesome feature. So I'd love to see that in single player too. Something that was just recently added to Grand Theft Auto Online at the number 5 spot today, thermal and night vision goggles. So I'm actually shocked that not as many people use these items. The thermal and the night vision goggles are incredibly useful for not only seeing at night, but also various missions. And this would be super cool in the campaign. I feel like a lot of the different missions we could do would be really helped by thermal and night vision goggles. So it is kind of a shame that that hasn't been added. They are very, very useful. We get to see them in the Doomsday Heist and Smuggler's Run missions, and they've always been a lot of fun. So I would love to see if Rockstar added that to story mode. The number 6 spot, snacks on the inventory menu. So that's another thing I could almost talk about here. The interaction inventory menu system in GTA Online is really great. Now, I have a couple complaints about it. Could be a little bit more organized, could be a little bit more like broken down categorically, but having an interaction menu for online is awesome. We really don't have much of that in single player, but one thing that would be great is snacks, especially for healing yourself on the go on the missions. For someone like Michael or Trevor or Franklin, there really isn't a way to heal yourself. And yes, you do generate health back over time, but snacks are so valuable in online. I mean, I'm using them all the time in contact missions and import-export delivery missions. I'm literally snacking on them nonstop. So having that in single player would be a great feature as well. The number 7 spot, fully customizable outfit selections. So that is one of the best features of online, is having a clothing store and having the ability to save various outfits. Now, this system in online is not perfect. There's a lot of things I would want more, like more outfit slots, less restrictions on the clothing themselves, but overall it's still a pretty good method. And the fact that you can have different outfits for different scenarios, whether they're tactically like having bulletproof gear, or whether they're, just recreationally like going from summer to winter clothing, or, maybe something fun and unique like having a deadline suit for when you play the Tron adversary mode, stuff like that. Now, I know we don't have like Tron adversary modes in single player, but it would still be nice to be able to fully customize various outfits for Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, allowing them to have sort of different outfits they could wear for either different missions, or maybe even be able to save the outfits they use in various missions, like the firefighter suit from the FIB building raid. That would be awesome. And to be able to just wear that in single player outside of those missions would be really cool. At the number 8 spot today, Lester's abilities. So this would work really well with Michael because he's obviously probably the most friends with Lester out of them all. I wouldn't say Trevor's on this list, and I wouldn't say Franklin is on this list either. But Michael, one of his special features could be able to call Lester. Now, some of Lester's most famous features in online are remove wanted level and cops turn blind eye. And I think that would be awesome in single player to be able to remove wanted level, have cops turn blind eye. I mean, a lot of those features would work really well, whether you're trying to just rob a bunch of stores consecutively, whether you're just doing some stunts or something like that, or you just don't want the cops to bother you. There's a couple of other features that Lester's offers, but those are primarily his best ones. So I could see that being amazing. Now, again, it would probably only work for Michael, but it would be a really cool feature of playing as him, being able to call up Lester and say, hey, get these cops off me. The number 9 spot today, Benny's. So I would love to take some of the vehicles we have in game and bring them to Benny's in single player. Benny's is probably one of the greatest additions Rockstar has made to online. Basically just super modern, super unique customization that you can do to all types of cars, tuners, like lowriders, stuff like that. A lot of these vehicles are available in single player too. Which would be pretty awesome. I mean, Benny's is amazing in general. The Lowriders update was probably one of the best updates they've ever come up with. And a lot of the other updates like Import Export and even the Drop Zone update where they added more cars that could become available for the Benny's shop, those are some of the best. And they offer some of the coolest vehicles in the game. So as Michael or Trevor or Franklin to be able to modify a car in Benny's would be super cool. Again, the timeline for Grand Theft Auto Online is a little wacky just because Rockstar used to consider it a prequel. Now they consider it modern day. So I'm not sure how that would work, but regardless, that would be awesome. And at the number 10 spot today, probably the most important online exclusive items. Why can't Rockstar add all the items they add in online available in single player? Like all the vehicles we got in the Doomsday Heist, in Gun Running, Smuggler's Run. Why can't they add that to single player? Why can't they add hangars to single player so that we can modify planes there and store them? In case you guys haven't been on single player story mode in a while, the DLC vehicles stop after the ones they started doing. And I think it was Ill-Gotten Gains Part 1 and 2. After that, they stopped adding updates to single player that came to online. And that's just vehicles. That doesn't include clothing. It doesn't include weapons. Rockstar have added a lot of weapons since then. It obviously doesn't include some of the big major properties I was talking about earlier, like maybe the hangars. So yeah, it's a little unfortunate that single player has been completely ignored, and sort of vice versa. A lot of the content that was supposed to be for single player was made into online stuff, like the Doomsday Heist, which was originally going to be a single player DLC, became an online update. So that's probably the biggest one of them all, including content that comes from online and adding it to single player too. Why does single player get left out? It's kind of a bummer. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What are some things from Grand Theft Auto Online that you think need to be in single player and story mode? I'd love to hear from you guys down there, so let me know what you're thinking and more. If you did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.